with the M in the acronym, because this is the modern infrastructure panel. We don't do the A, access to education, as yet. Rest, trust me. On this side, we can spell Jamaica. You are indeed up next. So following behind the justice for all conversation, we invite Senator Damian Crawford, a man known for his creativity in finding solutions, a passionate advocate in access to education for all. Senator Crawford.
Oh my God, that is funny.
Thank you very much. I will stand on the protocols that have been observed, save and except to say a special recognition, of course, to the leader of the People's National Party, and as we hope, the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. I thank you all for attending, for your time and for your attention. And I have been tasked with speaking to you on access to quality education. Our position for education is based, first of all, on the reality that education is in crisis. And not only is education in crisis, there is great deterioration over the last 10 years. Some of the facts that we must acknowledge is that over 11,000 children are not achieving basic mastery at the 6th grade level in mathematics. Additionally, 18% are achieving 5 subjects, including math and English. That means 82% has not achieved the basic graduating numbers that we desire. Indeed, we have also recognized that there is a concern at the absenteeism, but also at the literacy level. In the last 10 years, literacy in 2015 reduced from 84% in 2015 to 65% in 2024. The same subject, about 5 subjects including math and English, reduced from 28% in 2015 to 18% in 2024. Therefore, we acknowledge that education is in crisis. The second acknowledgement is that the mantra of education is a contract between God and man that states, first of all, that every child can learn, which God has allowed, but the second, every child must, is the duty of our government, of our teachers, and of our parents. We therefore are committed to achieving that role that humans have gained in that contract with God. Our overall objective and the ultimate aim within our lifetime is to have 1 degree per household or its equivalent in vocation, suggesting therefore level 4 of heart qualification in vocations. That, however, would need multiple tenets, multiple hurdles to be crossed for persons, first of all, to be able to attend the university, and the second of all, to be able to be successful at that level. We look at the first proposal that we have made for university, which is the first in the family scholarship. This indicates, therefore, that the first person to matriculate to university would receive, as indicated by the leader in his budget presentation, a full scholarship to the university. We have received questions about what is a family and how is a family defined. It is simple. There are 2 definitions to the family. The first is shared ancestry, and the second is shared roof. Any of which that child qualifies, that child will benefit from the first in the family scholarship. Our numbers have been calculated and reported, and it's important to indicate to students currently at the university that for the first year, our numbers considered 4 groups of university students. So not only new university students, but current university in first year will receive their second year, and current in second year will receive their third year, and equally current in third year will receive their 4th year. We also recognize that outside of those who may receive the scholarship, some are still in need of having a student loan. And again, as the leader has indicated in his budget presentation, which is why I'm so confused by the multiplicity of arguments that we have not proposed our plans. But the leader also stated that those persons who have applied to student loan, the payment will be tied to their income to ensure that student loan isn't an albatross around the necks of individuals who have the necessary expenses of survival. We have also indicated that for those who are not yet employed, student loan will not start until the start of employment. Therefore, there will be no requirement for payment. But before we get to university, we have to ensure that there is early exposure to children for their brain function. Research has indicated that 80% of the brain function occurs in the first 1,000 days. And to that extent, we will ensure that we work with the churches to create facilities for infant learning in each community so that we can have organized access to brain function and that improvement so our children can get that. Additionally, we recognize absenteeism as a major problem in Jamaica. Recently, we celebrated 22%, a return to 22% absenteeism, quote unquote, pre-COVID levels. Chronic absenteeism is suggested to be 10%. So we are celebrating twice what is suggested to be the chronic absenteeism levels. And this is for the general reality. Deep rural absenteeism has been said to be 55% and rural absenteeism 32%. To this extent, we have recognized some of the reasons for absenteeism to include access to transportation. And it's important to differentiate access and affordability because there are some communities being deep rural that have no access for them to even consider affordability. To that extent, we had indicated the RIDE program. And the RIDE program is to give $10,000 per month or $2,500 per week as a supplement to individuals who are coming from communities that may, one, not have access to make access more available, but two, may not be able to afford to ensure that they can afford getting to school. Regardless of the quality of school and teacher, absence would indicate that the child will not be able to perform satisfactorily. We also recognize nutrition to be a problem. And in recognizing that nutrition is a problem, we relied upon the research that said 56% of Jamaicans have food insecurity. Some graver than others, but 56%. Our current PATH program lunch is targeting less than 30% of our children, indicating that approximately 26% are still not accessing the necessary nutrition that is needed. To this extent, we not only decided to expand the number of students to over 240,000 students, but also to increase the amount from $180 to $400 per child per day. The current $180 have caused for an apartheid system in education where many children on PATH have to join a separate line of segregation and divided from persons who are affording other lunches. Principals have also started to offer 3 days of lunch because the money allotted cannot provide for the entire 5 days. Time come for that to change under the People's National Party. We will ensure that the stories of literacy problems in high school are a thing of the past by focusing on literacy and numeracy in the first 4 years, indicating that by the grade 6, all our children should be literate and numerate with the necessary interventions to correct the necessary things for those children. We will host camps. We will host evening programs. We will host summer school to ensure that those who unfortunately have been robbed of opportunity don't remain in the lines of the level 3 and level 2, but all come to pathway 1, which is the aim for our children. Finally, we will ensure that our children have great access to the necessities of a teacher in the classroom. We have seen the teacher migration and the negatives that have caused, especially in mathematics and vocation. And to that extent, we are proposing a retention plan for teachers so that Jamaica become more competitive for the services of our wonderful teachers that are constantly being asked to migrate into other spaces. This retention plan will change some of the realities that we have seen, where students doing an exam in fifth form have not had a math teacher since third form. It therefore explains why less than 40% of our children taking math are passing math at this particular point in time. The teacher retention plan would include, first of all, greater access to housing through the NHT. It will include reservation of housing units built through the NHT and under government programs. It would include graduating access to motor vehicle concession. It would include forgiveness of student loan for the years that they remain in the public sector. It would include internet as a tool of trade to ensure access to preparation and information. And it would include ensuring their environs, both in the classroom and the staff room, are sufficient for them to feel comfortable moving forward. We believe that our access to education plans are holistic, fulsome, and will ensure that we move the needle from just access to quality access for our children. Therefore, we are putting forward an education plan that is based on love for our children, love for our future, and love for our country. Thank you, Jamaica.
Thank you very much, Senator Crawford, for elucidating how critical education is as a bridge to connecting dreams to reality. It is indeed a powerful investment, and as he spoke, my mind went to any of us having to go to the bank to get some money to make an investment in ourselves. The bank looks at the whole human sitting before that particular agent. Where you live, we need to establish that you are grounded and can be found. What is your record of earning and payment? We need to see where you're coming from to figure out where you can go. What are the full suite of resources that you will need to make good on this investment in your business? And if you need to have access to an incubator, that is done too. Our children deserve no less than a full investment in the whole life experience, from infancy right up to their tertiary level education. And the People's National Party will in fact deliver. Now, as we heard that approach to scaffolding around our children, the different things that they will need to build that towering strength that of course is going to impact our economy, there is a foundation on which these things must also be built. And I have joining me for our first of three panels, two men who understand very well what it means to build and to sustain what is built based on